Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Employee Baltimore Show. I'm your host, Marvin McKinstry of the Employer Services Division in the famed and acclaimed Mayor's Office of Employment Development. Y'all know what we do here. We show up here on Thursdays at 2 p.m. to bring you up-to-the-minute information on opportunities. We can't even just say employment anymore because there's a vast array of things that you're going to learn about when you're here. What I need you to do is to go to the Mayor's Office of Employment Development page, like, love, and share this broadcast. I'm going to do it with you. All of them 1,001 followers and 5,000 followers and stuff you have, we need to get the word out. We are on all social media platforms right now. Y'all can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. We are everywhere because information, in order to be effective, has to be everywhere. So listen, tag somebody in the comments. I'm still putting my post up. Tag somebody in the comments. Don't talk about them needing to get out your basement. Don't talk about them needing to get off the corner. Tag them in the comments so that they'll know we are live and in color right now to bring you up-to-the-minute information. And today's show is going to be phenomenal because, y'all, there's something big happening in Baltimore tonight. And listen, it's no need to be big if it's not relevant. It is 100% relevant, and it's going to really touch Baltimore in the way that it needs to be touched. But before we get to that, and I get to talk to one of my favorite guys in the process, but before we get to that, we got some announcements that we need to get out there because, as y'all know, the Mayor's Office of Employment Development has always got things on the go. Are we talking about my sports first? Because I got to shout my birds out, man. The Orioles, top of the American League East, man, they are on fire. Last year was not a fluke. If you have started following the birds again, you have picked something really, really, really good to do. I know my sons went down and caught the game over the weekend. The Yankees were in town. I didn't even really talk to my son about how the game went or how was their experience. But listen, y'all, get behind these boys of summer. They are here. They're making a statement early in the year to let people know it was not a fluke what happened last year. So if you're a baseball fan, tune in. Get out to the stadium. It's a whole nother experience in the stadium. Lovers, that's an excellent date night at the Bird Stadium. Make sure that you get in there and that you go support these birds, man. They are already on fire. And we can't forget about the birds of winter. My Baltimore Ravens, the draft just ended, y'all. We got a cornerback that is a projected first-round draft pick. He's tall. He's big. He's physical. He plays like a Raven. Man, I can't even keep up with all of the major happenings that's happening with the team because we got some free agent moves. We just signed a linebacker who was from the Packers. I believe that they're going after Brandon Ayuk, who was with the San Francisco 49ers. If you're one of those people that's not as much of a sports fan as I am, you're looking at me like, I don't know what he's talking about. But listen, the truth is the Ravens are retooling because we're not going out like Willie Lump. Hey, I ain't said that in a long time. We're not going out like we did last year, where we get right to the threshold and we don't seal the deal. Kansas City Chiefs, we on your heels. We coming for you this year. And everybody else, Russell Wilson, we going to welcome you to the division the hard way. Go Ravens! All right. M&T Bank Stadium is being remodeled, y'all. So when you go down this year, it's going to be a new. I got the best producer in the world. I didn't even shout her out. Y'all help me to thank my producer, Katanya Lester, the person who does everything to make the show happen so that all I have to do is sit down. Katanya, please forgive me. You are too great an asset for me to not remember to say shout out to Katanya Lester. So, y'all, listen. Let's get excited. Let's get going. We got some announcements. Something is going on with the screen. Okay, it's good now. The Now Hiring Job Board, y'all, it is what it is. This information is the most accurate and up-to-the-minute information on any site that you're going to go on concerning the city of Baltimore, the region, and opportunities. There's an amazing business service representative who's attached to every one of these opportunities. So when you respond by email, there's somebody who really is excited to help you get in the door at this opportunity. Y'all, I tell people all the time, we get you all the way to the interview. You got to close the deal and do your thing when you get there. But I need y'all to go to the Now Hiring Job Board to make sure that you are getting this up to the minute information. That's moed.baltimorecity.gov/job board. moed.baltimorecity.gov/job board. All right, y'all. My bro is at it again. The one and only shout out to my main man, Mr. Andrey Beckles. Rye Street Tavern is having another job fair, y'all. They Tuesday, May the 14th. I think that's election day, ain't it? Well, that's tough. They're having a job fair on election day. Vote and go get your bread all at one time. 301 Mission Boulevard, Baltimore, Maryland, 21230. Building number 3 on the 3rd floor. It's a beautiful facility. It's become a beautiful community down there in the Baltimore Peninsula. Partnership between the Peninsula MAG Partners and the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. They're looking for hosts, front waiters, back waiters, bartenders, bussers, line cooks, prep cooks, dishwashers, restaurant managers, and sous chefs, y'all. If you are in the budding and growing hospitality industry here, booming, I should say, here in Baltimore, make sure that you go down to Rye Street Tavern after you vote. Go to Rye Street Tavern. Gotta vote. All right. Tuesday, May 14th, between the hours of 1 and 7 p.m. Every time we transition, it look like my camera freezing. All right. So I guess that's the only flyer we had, y'all. I get to bring on this amazing and awesome man who is a part of my personal life's testimony. Just maybe a week or two ago, I was interviewed about working with youth and our passion towards doing that work in Baltimore City. And one of the giants in this town, who was a principal, caught me at a very bad moment, gave me some wisdom, and held on to me. And 20-something years later, we are connected, doing great work in the community. He is one of the co-founders, him along with Captain Andrey Muhammad, of what's called the We Are Us movement. When this movement was birthed, there was a mind frame that said we're not going to be the I, me, my group where we focus on ourselves. It's going to be about we, our, us. Y'all help me welcome the director of the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement, who is the strongest partner to the We Are Us movement, the one and only Dr. Andrey Bundley. What's up, Doc?
Thank you, Marvin. All is well. Listen, whenever I can, I'm connected to you in proximity or in my mind, my heart, I'm good. So I know we're actually going to physically be in the same space tonight. So, I'm super good.
I'm excited, man. It feels like Christmas Eve back when I was a kid, because the purposeful and meaningful work that we here to talk about today is an amazing thing. But before we get into that, not as though there's anybody who may not know you or who you are, can you just give the folks an update who Dr. Andrey Bundley is and how we got to this place, with you being the director of the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement?
Yeah, regular guy, Andrey Bundley, grew up in the Reservoir Hill neighborhood. Grew up as a young man. Around the time where I met you, I was about that age, but if not that age or younger, up around in Whitelock Street, throwing up W signs for Whitelock, because it's something when you grow up in cities across this country, you represent a particular place and space. So Whitelock was the place and space. I went to elementary school there, ended up going to, which was called John E. Howard Elementary School at the time, then went to Booker T. Washington Junior High, and then lost my mother, and I had to move with her sister. So her sister lived in Westport, so I had to move there, and I ended up going to Southwestern High School. From there, went to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, then to Coppin, off to Penn State twice, came back, majored in education, came back home, and have been home ever since. And my focus has always been our young people. And I can honestly say that I retired from Baltimore City Public Schools after 32 years, went to work every day, but never worked a day in my life because it wasn't work. Love what I did, and how we did it, the work for other people's children. And then I retired from Baltimore City Public Schools and was asked to come to become the director of the mayor's office of African American male engagement. Accept that offer from then Mayor Catherine Pugh, and that's I'm into my 6th year now in this position, and love the work. And so I think that's a little background.
Doc, you have such a passion and desire to see black men succeed in life, right? I think although we've had the gift here in Baltimore to be able to cherish you here locally, it's so much bigger than that. Tell the people a little bit about kind of what fuels your passion towards the work that you do, specifically around saving black men.
Yeah, just have a memory of my life. Again, my mother died, Marvin, when I was 13 years of age, and I just was going to just lose my mind and didn't have a dad in my life. And so, I love my mother, and they always said I was a mama's boy. And when I lost my mother, and I began to understand what that was, because I was always up under my mom. And when I lost my mom, I was just, I was like out of it. As I reflect back, I was depressed, I was angry, and obviously I was afraid. And so I had to work that through. But thankfully, I was also a good athlete, and my athletic coach, who Charlie Harrison, in the recreation program at Johnny Howard Recreation Center in the Reservoir Hill community, he they sports nurtured me, and the individuals, adults who were in the sports space, they nurtured me, and I played sports, and I finally got my feet up under me through sports, and begin to know how to win. I was considered a small guy relative to, because I played basketball and football. I was considered a small guy, but I was also considered a tough guy because I knew how to win and have a great memory of what it takes to win. And I know how I've gotten from that space that I've just described to the space that I'm in presently. And so I just don't want to keep it to myself. I just want to be able to tell your story. I'm so proud every time I see you. I'm proud. I'm thankful. And what I want people to understand in this space that we're in, when I look at a Marvin McKinstry, who is a pastor of a church now and who works for the mayor's office, and when I look at all of these different men whose space I'm in, and I ask them, when you look at your life, what is the difference that made the difference? And I always get people to reflect on nothing but the difference. The difference made the difference. So now you have to go and share that hard space that you were in a more softened space that you're presently in, and share how you move from there to here, but tell them about the difference. But not only tell them about the difference, show them about the difference, work with them about the difference, and then find yourself now being their role model, because you look like them, you're from where they're from, you're believable, and now what they have to do is what you did and I did, and so many of the others have done, is choose. And you never want to take a choice from a human being, because a person won't own their choices. I talk to a lot of guys, and Marvin, we talk to guys who have made the choice, bad choice, and they went to prison. But the reason that they were able to handle their prison stint, because they realized it was a choice that they made. And if they weren't there now in a hard space and place, wishing and all of those things, even if they wished, they had to work at doing their bit, right? So it's about choice. And that's one of the things that we do. We show up and we are an example, but we also are a living choice that we've made, because nobody has given us anything. They've helped us, and that's what we're doing out in the streets. And then now we're moving toward the schools, and we're working with young people at DJS, and we're going to be working with, we're envisioning working with coaches, and we already are working with community-based organizations. And so the bottom line is we can't keep it to ourselves. What is the difference? The difference between 1 and 2 is 1. The difference between 3 and 2 is 1. The difference between where we are and where we were is the difference, and we have to share whatever that difference is.
Doc, I want to get this in before we go into specifics about what we're here to talk about, because that's a beautiful picture, not just because I'm in it. Um, we are 6 years ago, you appointed to be the director of the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement. And in that moment, you become the co-founder of We Our Us Unity Engagement Men's Movement. We have seen movements come, right? And we love everybody that's done what you've done in the past. This isn't comparative. But even through a pandemic, We Our Us has continued to stand. Talk to us about, I remember that very first, very cold day that we walked down Pennsylvania Avenue like we had no sense in that blistering cold. Um, and I tell people all the time, I'm a founding member because I was one of the first five, but you're the co-founder of it. Talk to us about the birth of what has become one of the longest standing and consistent movements here in Baltimore, um, the We Are Us Men's Movement.
Well, I think it's been sustained because we'll talk about what we're doing tonight, but we lead by following, we lead by leading. There are no big eyes and no little U's, no big egos. We go into it with a good, safe assumption that we're not always the sharpest knife in the drawer. We're not always the brightest bulb in the room. And so, because we can lead and fall back and fall back and lead, and we have, like I said, even the work that we've done here, we had multiple things going on. We had multiple activities going on, but we were able to pull this off because we lead each other and we follow each other. And all of us are talented, and we know that. And that's different than many of the other movements, in that I think people are developing people, but we know how to fall out and fall back in. We know how to speak truth. And for many of us, it's just happened this way. The truth has made us free. And we know that the truth has made us free, but we also know that the opposite, or the polarity of that, is that a lie just will incarcerate us. So we speak our truth to each other, and because we keep talking truth to each other, we're able to move forward. And that's it. It's not a whole lot to it. We just got, and then we're always in this self-improvement. Like, if you say, well, Doc, I think this, and we disagree even vehemently, right? And if I'm thoughtful about it, I'm saying, Marvin, yep, you're right. I apologize, that kind of thing. And so those of us who have gotten to that point, we model it for each other so we know how to forgive each other. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing, because through all of the other stuff, what continues to rise to the top is this love that we have for each other, because we are really learning how to love ourselves as men.
So I want to correct what we see on the screen. He's not the director of We Are Us. He's the co-founder. And in his capacity as the director of MOAIM, he's our partner, right, in We Are Us. But tonight, Doc, I guess I would say maybe 7-8 weeks ago now, you hit me up and said, Marvin, with the way you say Marvin, man, you said, Marvin, look, I need you to be up here tonight. You coming out? And I sat there with you, as always, in a seat of admiration for the visionary that you are. And the vision needed to become applicable to, or more directly applicable to, a different dynamic, a different demographic. You'll hear in the local news stream that it seems like youth and crime in Baltimore have become synonymous with one another. But if we're going to be honest with ourselves, we're talking about Black youth, right, who are in those disinvested, disenfranchised communities. And you pulled us into a room and you said, we're going to bring 1,000 men together. And because I've come to a place in my life where, I know who my leaders are that I follow, we jumped into it. And tonight, this thing is coming to be. Talk to us about the vision for 1,000 men on schedule.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we found when we first started out and we were walking Marvin, and again, we were just doing really, it was really action research because we had up to 400 men at one time in a walk in neighborhoods. We had our first call when we walked, we had 1,000 men out there with us walking, and people got excited about the moment, right? People got excited about the moment, and there were multiple moments where we had people walking with us 150, 200, 300, 400, and then we found that individuals fell off um, because the zeal was seemingly fading for whatever the reason is. And so one of the things that we realized is that we could, as leaders, could call men together and they would show up because we called. We went for 1,000, but we wanted 1,000 individuals. That is the youth and the leaders, and we recently did that, right? And so what we know now, individuals have said to you, Marvin, they've said to me, "Hey Doc, hey Mom, how can I get involved, man? I just want to do something. Doc, I can't walk like I used to. These are some of the older guys. We can't walk like I used to, but I really want to get involved, Doc. Give me my assignment. Give me something to do." And so I was thinking about it, and I was saying, as an educator, I know the 5 spaces that we're now seeing where our young people need support. And so I said, okay, in order to be in those spaces, individuals just can't show up in those spaces. Like, you make it look easy when you're out on the corner, whether you're in the corner of Brooklyn, whether you're in Poe Homes, whether you're in Park Heights, but you've been trained. And so what we knew is that we wanted to call these 1,000 men together who said that they were interested. Doc, give me something to do. I would like to be involved. We said, okay, well, we're going to do 1,000 men on schedule. And we want you to come, but we're going to talk about, even tonight, about training, showing up at the training. Because in order to go in the spaces, and the spaces are the street space, the school space, the sports programmatic space, the DJS space, or work with community-based organizations who are already established space. In order for you to be in those spaces, you have to be trained. You have to be trained. You have to know what those attributes are that you make look easy. Captain Andrew make it look easy. And we got to let them know that, listen, we believe that you could be in those spaces, but we want you to come talk so we can share with you what it really looks like. And so that's what tonight is about. That's what the vision was about, to do what we're doing tonight, is just an answering of a call or request of many individuals who said they wanted to be involved. And we said that, but we really need you to be involved. But we know the spaces where we are now, because we're evolving as a movement, we're now in all of those spaces, but we know you just can't show up in that space without any training.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about next, because being deliberate, when you look at the flyer, a call to action. This is not a meeting, it's not an event,
Right.
but a call to action. Talk to us about the difference in making sure we don't have that thing, okay, we came together, now what, but that things have already proactively been put in place for everybody that's going to show up tonight to be able to know exactly what the next steps are. Talk to us about the importance of doing that.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we wanted to do, and again, I didn't know all of the stuff that you taught me during this process, but the QR codes and get people pre-registered early. We had a little glitch with the QR code, but we're still going to take care of that tonight. One of the things that we're going to do is we're talking about when the first training is going to be and where it's going to be. We've already secured the venue for the first training, and I'm hoping that no more than, well, we got 250 spaces or slots for training, and we'll do, if we have to do 2 trainings, we'll do it. But the purpose of it was to kind of get individuals out, and like I said, answering the call, bring them out tonight. We're not talking, we're going to have a keynote speaker, but this is an individual who is into action. We had having it at Empowerment Temple because the pastor here is very much like us. He is a purpose driven, action oriented, movement kind of pastor. He has a focus, and the purpose is he has a staunch and a clear focus on reparations. And so he's a very active type of pastor like we are, not afraid to go out there in the streets. And for in his case, he walks to DC and raise money for walking from Baltimore to DC. Can't get no more action than that.
No
So
more.
right. So yeah, so we are coming out to have a call. So it's a meeting. It's not one of the events where everybody coming to feel good. It's about inspiring people optically that we've done this, that we have a history of work. We have a history of action, and we just want more action. And we have to be, as you stated, we have to be very, very deliberate, and we have to be definitive as to where people fit in with this action. So, I mean, that's the purpose of us doing what we're doing. They're going to see you tonight, but you're going to be talking about the action part as it pertains to community-based organizations and the purpose of why we have those. And you know that's your space tonight. So with everything we're doing is about more action, Marvin. It's not about any kind of, we're not trying to show off. We're not trying to inspire people about how great we are. We're trying to inspire people to more action.
Doc, I wanted to kind of slide this piece in too because we got some vendors that are going to be coming out tonight.
Yes.
There's going to be some on the spot actionable, and I invited another. I'm glad we did go with extra tables because I invited another provider who's doing some great work around housing people who have a need that are in the homeless space coming out tonight. But talk to the people about the vendors and even why it
Yes.
was important to make sure that there were available resources on tonight.
Yes. And Marvin, to be honest, I'll talk to the people about it. But when we thought about it, the thought came from you in that we would not just have vending in the case of other people, because some people think vending and they think of selling stuff. And one of the things that you made clear to the coordinating committee is that we're talking about getting people there and continuing to encourage them that there are resources, that we care about them, that there are resources to help them. So all of our vendors are individuals who have a resource that will allow people to improve uh, in the space where they are and give them some support in that space. So we have individuals from the drug addiction space there. Actually, the pastor called me. He just wrote a book, but he wants to be able to. He's the pastor of the church, so he's the only one probably will have his book.
His
And
book,
he's selling his book,
but his book is not that kind of book.
but it's not right. But this is a book of work and know-how and action. And so he has venue priority. So, but then we have those other individuals. For example, you have the individual, the funnel cake king person. He is an entrepreneur, and so what he's doing, he's not selling funnel cakes, but he's showing youngsters that you can come work with me, and I can show you how to build a business, and I can show you how to work for this business, how he's built the business and employ young people. So you have all of these different individuals who are helping to resource individuals in a way that they can improve the quality of their lives, and they can help move on a positive and constructive pathway forward.
So Doc, we've pretty much gotten into the meat of it. We got Dr. DeForest Soares, who's going to be our keynote tonight. You're going to hear powerful call to action by yourself. We're going to talk about the importance of collaboration intergenerationally, not just, we literally bringing everybody to the table. If we were to get 1,000 people to see this broadcast and you were to be able to give them just that call to action to show up tonight, what would you say to them?
That we now know that those who are in hard spaces, those who have in forgotten spaces, with being in the right space and having the right influence, that they can go from worst place to first place. And so we're asking individuals to come out and know that we're calling more individuals to help us do what we do. I mean, Marvin, and you've been responsible for this, and so I'm not going to allow you to be shy. I mean, we've helped thousands of individuals secure jobs. Let's be honest, we've helped individuals. Of the 1,000 individuals have to end up secure the second and or third job in a different space, because we knew that we're big on this idea of making choices. So yeah, we want individuals to know that this we're making this call because we know individuals, based on the science that we have discovered that we use, which is the self-efficacy science, which basically says that we can facilitate in other individuals a belief that they can execute the behavior and bring about the outcomes they desire. We want people to know that. And so, because it's not about jobs that people think that they need to be able to have the confidence and the mindset to be able to keep those jobs. And so that's what we're doing tonight, that we're reaching individuals. And let me just give an example. So we're on Lexington Street down in Po Homes. You got the youngsters, they rocking, they're in the corner, they on the corner, in living their lives, doing the best version of themselves at that time. And we pull up, it's your neighborhood, and we're getting ready to walk, but because of the quality connected relationships, which is a part of the work that we do, but because of your quality connected relationships with those individuals, which other people need to know how to build QCR, we were able to call them together. They paused what they were doing, stopped, and we all prayed together right then and there. These are individuals from an optic standpoint. Some individuals would never even, not let alone pull them together, but not probably wouldn't stop to speak to them, right? So we have the ability to go in those spaces, and we're not bragging that we can do that, but we want other individuals to know that we've been trained and they can be trained too. And more people we have trained, then the more we can do this across our city and do what needs to be done.
The event is called 1,000 Men on Schedule, but we want to make sure that we let you know that, ladies, there is a place for you in the event tonight and in this work. Doc, holler at the sisters and let them know that they are welcome to come in the building.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we've asked Mama B and Sister Chanel, within their 5, they got 2.5 minutes apiece, because everybody got time. We're going to make sure that everybody stay on time, because this is not where we're trying to do no major speeches, but we're talking about action. They're going to come tonight. But then the reason that we ask them to come, because often I get a call from women who work with young girls and say, Dr. Bundley, can you just come and talk to our young ladies? Can you bring some guys to talk to our young ladies, just as we need women to come talk to our young men? Because we know that many of our boys are raised by mothers, right? And so sometimes women help us. When we come in, the women sometimes come in and help us as we work with our guys to know that, hey, listen, we love you too, right? It just doesn't feel like the motherly love that you're used to. It's fatherly love. And we don't want, because it might be different for you, we don't want you to spend too much time opposite of us, but join us and let us come beside you and help you move forward. So we do gender specific work, but we cross-pollinate and work with each other. And so that's why the women are coming tonight, because we're going to be they're going to call us as they move into their spaces to do gender specific work with young ladies. And they're going to call on the men to be able to come and do some guidance and some support and some give some accountability messages to young ladies.
So y'all, there you have it. We want everybody to come out tonight to 1,000 Men on Schedule. It's going to be at the Empowerment Temple Church. That's 4217 through 4221 Primrose Avenue in Baltimore, Maryland, 21215. Special shout out to Reverend Dr. Robert Turner,
Yeah,
who opened up his doors and has literally not only done that, but been a thought partner in this work from day one. To the entire coordinating committee, I'm not going to try to get the calling names because then my brothers are going to be mad at me if I forget somebody. But to everybody who has been not just a part of the boots on the ground work that us does regularly, but that has made this dramatic shift to literally take the work that we do and bring it into a space where we can be more deliberate, more collaborative, but more deliberate in going after and rescuing our young people.
that's right.
Special shout out to the staff at the Empowerment Temple Church who have tolerated us and who's going to be helping us out tonight with so many different things. We are just so grateful for your assistance and excited about being there tonight. Doors will open promptly at 5 p.m. The vendors will be available from 5 and then at 6 p.m. we bringing everybody into the sanctuary so that we can have this call to action, this great strategy that has been put together by some amazing thought partners, not just We Our Us. We
That's
got
right.
collaboration from so many different organizations, Tendea Family, No Leader, Challenge
Roger.
to Change,
Hmm.
Yala. Again, I shouldn't have started calling names. Thrive. I can't call everybody, but there's so many people who have been grounded and rooted in this work that are coming together to expand it. The only thing that we need tonight is you. We need you to show up in the place. We need you to come out strong. We're not going to hold you long, but this thing is going to be powerful and it's going to be effective and it's going to be the community doing its part to help everybody else. Elected officials have their role, BPD has their role, but the community is going to be strong in supporting the role that we need to play and making sure that we can rescue our young people. Dr. Andrey Bundley, I thank you for your life. I
Thank
thank
you.
your wife and Drayon for sharing you with the city of Baltimore, sharing you with guys like me who needed men in our lives to show up. My dad is doing wonderful. You know, you met my dad. My dad is great, awesome guy. But in spaces where I needed a man in my life, I thank God for people like you who stepped in and made sure that you fill that role. I can't begin to say. People think that people know me everywhere. I can't begin to say how it is when we out in these streets and we go places and people recognize you and they recognize Cap and sometimes they recognize us from the worst spaces, but the good thing is they know that they've always had some support. So I thank God for you, man. The ministry and work that you brought to this city, whether it was in the school system, whether it was in Moaim, We Are Us, or just for being who you are, is something that
Don't make me cry, bro. Don't make me cry.
I'm trying to get you on camera, but we can't thank you enough for that, man. And I'm
Thank
looking forward to tonight. Thank you for being a part of the Employee Baltimore show. We love you, man, and we're gonna stay connected as long as it's God's will, and I believe that's God's will forever.
That's right. Amen. Thank you. I love you back. Love you all back, and look forward to seeing everybody tonight.
Awesome. And again, we cannot close this thing out without thanking our producer,
Yes.
Tanya Lester. I have a special shout out that I have to give. It's been one full year since our director, Mackenzie Garvin, stepped courageously into the role of being our director. She came in as an interim, and she was never really an interim. She came in and hit the ground running, and it's been a little more than a year now. And I want to say, Mac, we appreciate you. And I'm not talking just MOED, your team, your staff, the city of Baltimore. No one else could have made this work as seamless as you did when that transition happened. You have been an amazing leader to keep the agency moving forward. And in the recent times where we've had to deal with the challenges of the key bridge and things of that nature, you have stepped up and you, with your amazing team of assistant directors, done a tremendous job of keeping this agency right at the forefront of what needs to take place so that our citizens and residents who are affected directly and indirectly can continue to get the outstanding service. Leading the charge as we're looking to go to our new location, Mackenzie. We just want to say happy 1 year director anniversary to you. Thank you for the leader that you are, and we're gonna keep this thing moving and go hard. If you know we are. All right, y'all. That's the show for today. Listen, you got your marching orders. We'll see you tonight at 6 p.m. at Empowerment Temple, 4217 through 4221 Primrose Avenue. The doors are going to open at 5 p.m. They're going to be vendors there on deck. And then at 6 p.m., we're going to start this powerful, powerful, powerful call to action. And you're going to leave there already attached to what you need to be attached to for the next steps as we, the Men of We Are Us, and other community organizations go out here to make sure that our young people have an opportunity and a chance to be as great as they need to be. I couldn't imagine where I would be if I did not meet the people that helped me, and all we want to do is give it back. Think about where you have opportunity to give back, and let's continue to pay it forward. 1,000 men on schedule, 6 p.m. tonight. Doors open at 5. 4217 Primrose Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21215. And as I always say in closing, if you're looking for an opportunity, we're looking for you. The Mayor's Office of Employment Development and the Youth Opportunity Center, listen, we are invested in economic justice and building a workforce system that really works. Make sure you stay tuned into us every Thursday at 2 p.m. and we'll see you next time.